Today we're going to be making a do-it-yourself plush sloth. Here is the finished product before we get started. In your kit you should have some pre-cut felt fabric. So you should have the body of the sloth, the face, 2 pink circles for cheeks, 2 cut branches, 2 cut things for his eyes, and then a bunch of leaves that I pre-cut for you. You should also have lots of thread available for you, and I tried to match each thread to the color of your fabric as best as I could with what I had. For today's project in this tutorial, I'm going to be doing a different color just so you can see it better when I'm doing the stitch. Especially for the main body. And you should also have a needle. I provided everybody with 1 needle in your kit. And you should have stuffing as well. And you should have your own pair of scissors. I've also provided you this sheet of basic stitches and knots that you can use in this project. I learned a lot of my stitches through YouTube. I'm a beginner sewer, so I had to learn all these stitches just like you guys. So I tried my best, kind of winged it some parts, so we'll see how it goes. I will not be offended if you pause this video to go watch better tutorials of these stitches and how to do them. I know that I have to do that, so here are the stitches that you'll be using, and here we go. When you first start, we're actually going to be sewing onto 1 piece right now. So we're going to do all the little details. So we'll do the face first, and then we'll do the small face details. We'll add them on. So I'm going to place my face on there as centered as possible. And then I'm going to whip stitch around the circle. So like I said, I'm going to do a different color just so you guys can see it better. So I'm just gonna do this orange, and then we're gonna thread it through the needle, and then we're gonna tie a knot at the end. So I have gone ahead and threaded the needle, and I made just a double knot at the end here. Now I'm gonna go, I have it in place, and then I'm going to go from behind. Try to find the best. You want to make sure you get right next to the white. I'm going to pull it through. The knot on the back is stopped. So it's going to be stopped. And I'm going to pull the loose thread through. Quite a bit here. Okay. So then you're going to take your needle and you're going to go into the white and push down. So again, this is the whip stitch. And I learned just from YouTube for all this, so I am by no means an expert. I will try my best to show you guys what to do here. And if you guys just want to jump on ahead and start doing your own thing, that's perfectly fine too. So I went through again, through the back outside of the white, and I'm going to go back in the white, go through, pull it through, and there you go. And I'll do it again. Try to get through as close to the white as possible, through, and then there you go. All right, I'm going to finish this up, and then I'll be right back when I get to the end. All right, so I have done stitches all the way around, and my string is on the back, and now we gotta knot it. So we're gonna try the French knot here. So go pick a little bit of the felt up, and then you wrap it around the needle couple times. And then hopefully this works. We're supposed to pull through and make a knot. Oh, and then it knotted with some loose stuff, but it's still knotted and it will work. See, not an expert by any means, but it will stay secure and it will stay in place. And it's okay to have all this loose thread underneath because all this is going to be sewn together, and then it will be, you know, all the stuffing will be in here. So this will be the inside. And then we'll cut off the string. The scissors want to work. Come on, scissors. Here we go. There we go. And now we can work on the little eyes, patches, I guess, right? So I'll sew those on. And this one, I'm gonna do an applique stitch, I believe. All right, so I have threaded new thread onto my needle and I made a knot. And I'm gonna go behind, start. And you can start anywhere on the eye, so. Go from behind. You'll go right through the eye patch. Loose thread. That stopped. Pull this through. And then just go right next to it and sew it in. Then you have like a little stitch like that. And go to your next spot on here. And do the same thing. Just a little stitch. Keep it in place. So I'm going to continue that, and I'm actually, when I'm ready for the next eye patch, I'm not even going to cut my thread off yet to tie it. I'm just going to continue onto the other side. So I'll move my thread just over a little bit and then start stitching from there. All right, and I'll be back with 2 sewn on eye patches. All right, so now you can see I've sewn on the eye patches. And once again, you gotta go in the back and knot your thread. Make sure it's all secure. Okay, so the next part we're gonna work on are the cheeks, the cute little cheeks. So they're right on the end of the little eye patch. So you kind of cover up that corner, and it goes into the fur part, half on the face, half on the fur. So I'll get this started. And this is also a running stitch, you can see, just like the eye patches. Okay, so I've threaded my needle, I put a knot on the end for it to stop, and then I'm gonna place my cheek here. And some people, they'll put a little bit of glue on the back to try to hold it into place, but I'm just gonna wing it. Try to hold it in with my fingers. Flip it over. Let's see what I can do here. Got it. Here's the tricky part. Getting the loose thread through. Here we go. Got it. Maybe a little bit too much thread. So here we go, running stitch. Careful not to poke yourself. It's hard. And stitch in. And I'll go around, do the stitches, probably 4 stitches on the cheek, and then I'll skip over and do the other cheek with the same thread, and then I'll tie it up, and I'll be back. All right, you can see I got the cheek sewn in, and now I'm gonna go on the back and do another knot. And look at how crazy this is starting to look. But that's okay, because nobody will see it. All right, cheeks are sewn on. Now here comes the real fun part. We're gonna sew on the eyes, the nose, and the mouth with thread. So I gave you black thread to accomplish this. And it's basically just a bunch of running stitches. So I go up, I go across, I come back up, and then go back in. I just kind of winged it for this one, you know. Just keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then tie it off on the end. So I'll get started on that. All right, I've got my needle with the black thread. And I'm gonna start with the eyes first. The eyes and the eyelashes. So I'm gonna go in the back. Try to find where I start. Lots of black threading, probably too much more than I need. And then go across. I think I'm going to make an eyelash on the outer edge here. And pull it back up to this part right here. And put it right in the hole that I started. I can do that, right? Whoop. You can kind of see an eyelash, right? And then I'm actually going to jump over and do the second eyelash. And knead it up to there. And put it in that hole. And then we'll jump over. Oh, okay. So let's start another eyelash. Go up. Oh boy. Try not to stab myself. Go up, try to find the hole, this hole. Oh, try to find this hole. There must be a better way to do this. I think I'm just kind of winging it, like I said. Almost there. Almost matched up. Okay. Oh. There we go. And go across. Do another one, right? Maybe another line with another eyelash. So since I'm coming from behind, maybe I'll try to come up. Let's go up here, across, go across, then go across. Okay, we got a plan. Go up. And then go back up to that hole. Oh, that's way off. Close enough. And then meet this hole. And there we go. We have an eyelash of some sort. It looks okay. It's not gonna be perfect, that's for sure. Hopefully you guys did a better job than I did. So now I'm just gonna jump over and start on the other eye. And I'll be back and then we can do the nose and the mouth. I'll be back. All right, so I'm back and I have completed the eyes. They are not perfect, but they look like eyelashes. They're all right. So now I'm gonna do the nose. So it's a reminder, that's the nose. It's just thread. I haven't tied off yet. I'll try to find the center here in between the eyeballs. And then I'm just gonna go back and forth. And then since you're making a triangle, you're gonna go a little bit underneath. Pretty decent nose. Now his mouth, which is also going to be basically just another running stitch that's back and forth. So I'm going to start. You can make really small stitches to make. I just did for this one. I just did 2 big ones. And that worked. Start in the middle. Here. Kind of looks like a smirk. And then over here, try to match it. The angle. That's pretty good. And just go right in the middle again. Here. And I'm gonna go on the back. Look at that crazy mess. I'm gonna knot it off. So we have the face of the sloth is done, front part of him. So now we get to attach his body, the back of his body. I'm going to do a whip stitch like this one. But first you start, put this down for a sec. You're gonna thread your needle, you're gonna knot it, and you're gonna start, well, you can start anywhere, but you wanna start first through here. So then that knot is on the back with all this stuff. So we're gonna knot it through, we're gonna pull it, and then we're gonna put it back together. And then we're gonna go around and then go in the back and start stitching. So we're gonna stitch through, go around, stitch through, go around. And I'll get started on that and show you. So we'll get started on that, and then make sure you're leaving, like I would leave an opening in the back so that you can start stuffing it. And then when we're done stuffing it, we'll sew it up and complete it. I'll be back to start the stitch. Okay, so I have my needle threaded and knotted, and I'm actually gonna start my thread down here on the body because then I'm gonna leave this open so I can stuff it with the stuffing. So, like I said, we're gonna start just this one piece. We're gonna put our first stitch in here. My thread is pretty long. Go all the way around the body. Now, I'm gonna put the bodies together. There we go. Bodies are together. Now I'm going to take the thread, go behind both layers, and then I'm gonna put a stitch in the back here. And then go all the way through. So do another stitch from behind. Pull it through. And then go behind again. So I have it started. Pay attention to your thread, make sure it doesn't get all tangled up like mine just did, and then just keep going around the whole edge here. And then once you get to about here, I'll stop and then I'll show you how to stuff it, and then we'll close it. All right, so I have sewn all the way around the edges for the most part. Yay! See in the back. And then I've left this opening here. And we can start stuffing in. So I have the stuffing. And it also helps if you have like a pencil handy, because then you can put the stuffing in and you like shove it in and shove it in there as much as you can. All right, let's start stuffing this bad boy. Alright, I'd say that's pretty good and fluffy. So now we're gonna close it off. I'm gonna close this up, and then when we get to this end, we're gonna knot it. So here I am, about to close and make the knot. Got stitches all the way around, nice and fluffy. So if you want to keep the knot on the inside, see if you can get into this in here. If you guys can see. And tie off your knot in there. Or go through, come back around and just make a little knot on the back if you want. And then it's just a little hole. I think I might have done that on this one. Maybe not. Anyway, so try your best to make the knot on the inside. That's what I'm gonna try to do here. All right, I managed to get the knot on the inside. Kind of see it there. Should work. Then here's the sloth. And now we get to work on the branch. Okay, so now we're gonna work on the tree branch, and we're going to put the leaves on first. So when I did this originally, I did the branch first, stuffed it, but then when I went to go do the leaves, got all these knots in the back, so I don't want to do that. So I'm going to do the leaves first, and that's just a simple 1 stitch in each one knot, and then we'll sew the branch together and put some stuffing in it. So here we go. All right, so I have my thread is on my needle and I have a knot at the end, and I'm just gonna start putting leaves on. So I'll put these 2 leaves together. Right about there. And like I said, I'm just gonna do 1 simple stitch through each one. I'm gonna tie it off in the back. Okay, so I have the leaves sewn on like that. You can see the back, I have all the little knots for those. And now I'm gonna sew these 2 together, much like we did with the sloth. Do a whip stitch all the way around. Leave some space open so you can stuff it. And then we're gonna close it, and then your branch will be complete like this. And then we'll sew the sloth on with the little simple stitches. So I will get that started, and I'll be right back here when I'm ready to stuff. So I'm about halfway through, and I've decided to stop and try to get as much stuffing as I can into this end piece. Won't be able to get a ton, but I'm gonna try to get a little bit in there. And then I'll continue on stitching around, and then when I get to about here, I'll stuff the rest of it. All right, so I'm almost done stitching it, so now I gotta stuff the rest of it as much as I can. Again, I mean, you can't stuff too much in this because it's kind of a small space. If you want to just leave it blank too, I mean, you don't have to stuff it at all, I guess. But here I go. Remember to use a pencil. So when you're done, you can always just trim some of these little hairs off too. I'm going to finish closing this up. All right, so I finished closing it off here. Now I'm gonna try to knot it, make a knot on the inside to close it off. And be done with the branch. All right, my branch is done. Now I'm going to attach Mr. Sloth here. So I'm just gonna do some simple stitches, and you can make it look like his claws here. And you do have to tie it in the back, but there you go. I'll be back with finished claws. All right, I finished the claws, and here we go. Here is your do-it-yourself plush sloth. I hope you guys did a good job, hopefully a better job than I did, and I hope you learned how to sew. Thanks, guys.